Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, June 18th, 2019. And here's the thing. The European Central Bank capitulated. Mario Draghi has capitulated. And so we're going to be talking about that at the end as I run through the markets. And the bond market is... I don't know how to put it. The bond market's going crazy in Europe and the United States. Let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here and let's take a look at what's going on. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the silver price. And we're seeing it at $14.80. Why do I say that? $14.89 bid. $14.99 ask. It's up 8 cents on the day. It's moving down now, but it was up above $15 very briefly earlier in the day. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is $13.45 bid, $13.46 ask. It's up $6.70 on the day, and it's moving downwards right now too. Now we're getting ready in a few months from now for gold and silver to go back into well, they've never really left the bull market, to be honest. If you look at them in the long-term charts, but getting ready to go back into something where we see the prices moving up instead of down in the next few months, and that's where they're getting ready to move. And the reason why is it's because of central bank capitulation. These central banks, one after another, are going to capitulate and go back to dovish or monetary policy that stimulates the economy instead of trying to tighten. The tightening process is coming to a halt, and so is the downward movement in gold and silver, and so is the strength in the dollar, and so is the strength in the euro. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency market capitalizations for today. And Bitcoin, it took a large move upwards, and now it's leveling off, and it's at $284 billion, $284.7 billion market cap right now. Let me refresh the page and see which way it's moving. 285.6. So yeah, she's heading up toward $10,000, basically, the Bitcoin price. We're seeing the prices of Bitcoin at $91.91, Ethereum at $269, XRP at 44 cents, Litecoin at $135, Bitcoin Cash is $419, EOS is $6.96, Binance Coin is $34.73, Bitcoin SV is $224. Now, see Tether, I don't bother doing Tether. And, there's a new coin coming along through this Libra project in Facebook that's going to be something like Tether, because it's going to be tethered to the dollar. And the thing is I don't conceivably see in this having much of an effect on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies. They're still going to continue their movement upwards. This coin is going to be, this new coin from Facebook is going to be used, and it's going to start spreading. Its adoption, they got 2.5 billion people, that are potential users. So it's going to be big. It's going to be a big project, but I don't see it having too much of an effect on the cryptocurrencies. It's probably a move to try to slow them down, to try to cool them off, but I don't think it's going to work very good. We're looking at Stellar at 12 cents, Cardano at 9 cents, Tron at 3.3 cents, Monero $97, and Dash at $163. Cosmos Coin at $6.74, and to finish the list, IOTA at 43.7 cents. Now let's take a look at the Dow Jones for today. Let me see, is the market, what's the market doing today? We're looking at 180 points up. Just let me refresh the page. Oh my, 333 points up. Wow, look at this jump. Let me get it in here. Let me take a look at the 1 day. Look at this jump. in the market. This is a big jump in the market this morning. 333 points up, 1.28%. The market's up. It's probably got to do with the FOMC meeting that's occurring right now. The market is anticipating that the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates. I don't think they're going to cut rates on this meeting. I think on the next meeting coming up, I think later this year, in fact, they're going to start cutting rates. But it's a war. It's an all-out war to the bottom. It's the beginnings. Right now, what's beginning, we're just in the early stages of it, is a currency war. Quite seriously. And it's all coming about because of these trade wars, you know. And the thing is it's a race to the bottom for these currencies. Now, Jim Rickards, he wrote books called The Death of Money. And basically, he talked about these currency wars, you know. And this is what goes on. They try to weaken the value of their currency so that they'll make themselves more open to global trade. It's all about global trade and everything else, you know. If your currency's weaker, of course, you're going to get the business. Basically how it works. So, with these trade wars going on, also, trade wars lead to hot wars. Let's not forget that. Let's take a look now at crude oil. Crude oil today is up 43 cents on the day. And some of this has to do with pressures building in the Persian Gulf region. You know, there's an awful lot of pressure in there right now, and I mean, where it all leads in the end, you know, I'm going to have to wait and see. Let's take a look now at the U.S. Treasury Market. And this is where we're seeing the most action today, is in the Treasury Market. We're seeing that the U.S. 30-year is falling. It's 2.55 for the 30-year, 2.06 on the 10-year. All the yields are falling except in the shorter end of the yield curve, and we see rising yields, especially on the U.S. 3-month. It's at 2.22%. So there's a lot of movement today in the U.S. Treasury market, and it's moving toward this yield curve inversion. Yield curve inversion is only getting worse. The Treasury market's going nuts. They're really scared. They're running into U.S. Treasuries. It's one of the last games in town in the current financial system. Okay? Now, the current financial system is actually dying. And this is this new Facebook coin and everything, which is going to be big, is part of the results of this whole system actually breaking apart and starting to actually go into its death throes. This is a result. You know, I mean, face it, the world's financial system, they've maintained this power over money, this fiat power, this monetary decree, basically, that your money is worth something, when in reality all it is paper. And would they allow this erosion of their system unless they're, I'm telling you, this system is starting to break apart at the seams, this financial system. And the end results of this, you know, could be quite catastrophic. Let's take a look now at the U.S. dollar index. We're looking at 97.66 on the U.S. dollar index. It took a little bounce here, and actually 97.65 right now as we speak. Now, let's take a look at what's going on over in Europe. And this is big, important news. Mario Draghi, you remember years ago he said whatever it takes? Well, I guess he really meant it. Because he is going back to more stimulus. And this is Trump has responded to this. But it's very interesting that that he is capitulating completely. It says here, it says rate cuts remain part of our tools, he says. He says, and asset purchases are also an option. In short, full dovish capitulation by the European Central Bank, which in a market addicted to monetary stimulus is just what the bulls needed to hear. The news sent global stocks surging. Okay, so this is what we got going on. And if we take a look here at this chart, we can see what happened when he announced stimulus. Right? The markets are addicted to stimulus. The European Central Bank is going into full capitulation mode. The holdout is the Federal Reserve. And this is part of the reason why they're rushing into U.S. Treasuries, because at this point, at this stage in the game, the dollar is starting to look like the strongest place to be, because the Federal Reserve has not capitulated yet. I know they've done a lot of talk about rate cuts and everything else, and talk about quantitative easing a little bit. The president talked about quantitative easing. But they haven't really done it yet. They're the only holdout. They're the only bastion of safety within the legacy financial system. And let's not forget that the legacy financial system is the big financial system of the world still. Bitcoin is still tiny. Gold and silver are still unwanted, you know? And what's happened is that's left the legacy financial system is still the biggest game in town. And in that biggest game in town, when you boil it down, the dollar's the place to be. This is why treasuries have moved down so low, the yields on treasuries. This has been a bull market in treasuries. And this has affected the yield curve, you know, and created this yield curve inversion. And the dollar has remained strong because the United States Central Bank is the only bastion that hasn't capitulated. And that's because the United States economy is maintained a little bit of strength. You know, but it's weakening, it's softening. And as it softens, as we move into this global recession that's coming, the United States Central Bank is going to have to capitulate in the end. And when they capitulate, you know, then people are going to start to look for more alternatives. This could be absolute rocket fuel for the cryptocurrency industry and gold and silver. Gold and silver are going to take off too. It's not one or the other. An awful lot of gold bugs out there think it's gold, you know, and forget cryptocurrencies. And an awful lot of the people within the cryptocurrency industry are like, forget gold. Gold's a relic of the past and all this stuff, you know. But it's not one or the other. You don't have to pick one or the other. You don't have to say, okay, I like gold. I'm going to stay with gold. I'm not going to touch cryptocurrency. And you don't have, if you're in cryptocurrency, you don't have to have that same opinion about gold. You don't have to pick one or the other. You can have both. You can have both. You can love both equally. That's my point. Anyway, listen. Thank you guys for listening to this market report. We'll catch you on the next one very, very soon. Remember, like and give me a thumbs up. And we'll catch you very soon again. Bye-bye, guys.